All right, so today we're going to dive into the Madeleine McCann case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I think we can shed some light on it. For those who may not be super familiar with the case,
Yeah.
we're going to start from the beginning.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So it all started with a family vacation,
Mm.
right? A British family, the McCanns, they were at a resort in Portugal.
Beautiful area.
Yeah, the Algarve coast, Praia de Luz, picture it.
Yeah.
Sunny beaches, that relaxed vacation vibe.
Yeah. Idyllic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The McCanns, they had their 3 kids with them. Madeline, she was 3 at the time, and then the twins, younger than her.
Right.
It was May 3rd, 2007. It seemed like a normal night. The McCanns were having dinner with friends at this tapas place, just a short walk from their apartment.
Okay.
Madeline and the twins were asleep back at the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, here's where things get scary. It was around 10 p.m. when Kate McCann, Madeline's mom, went to check on the kids.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and Madeline, she was gone. Just gone. The window was open, but there was no sign of forced entry, no struggle, nothing.
So strange.
Right, just poof, vanished. It's every parent's worst nightmare.
Absolutely.
Now, can you imagine the panic, the terror? I mean, your child just disappears like that, without a trace.
Oh, it's just unimaginable.
It is. And this case, it just blew up. Headlines everywhere. The world was watching, and the McCanns, they were thrust into this media storm.
I can only imagine how overwhelming that must have been for them.
It was. And,
Yeah.
the Portuguese police, they had this system. They named the McCanns Arguidos.
Arguidos.
Yeah, it means formal suspects, basically.
Oh, wow. So they were suspects in their own daughter's disappearance.
Yeah, and the thing is, in Portuguese law, being an arguido, it has different implications than being a suspect in, say, British or American law. They had fewer protections.
Mm.
And, of course, it just added fuel to the media fire.
Yeah, that must have been awful for them.
Oh, absolutely. It added this whole other layer of trauma to an already horrific situation.
It's hard to believe they were even considered suspects.
Yeah, and it's important to note that eventually they were cleared. No charges were ever filed against them in connection with Madeleine's disappearance.
Right.
But the damage was done. They'd been under suspicion, scrutinized, and judged by the world for months. So, with the parents seemingly out of the picture, investigators had to look elsewhere, right?
Yeah, they had to start considering other possibilities.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's when the theory started swirling. There were whispers of child trafficking rings, burglaries gone wrong, all sorts of things.
Mm.
Now, the child trafficking theory, it wasn't totally out there. The Algarve coast, it was known as, well, a transit point for traffickers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were documented cases of children going missing from similar resorts, ending up in North Africa and things like that. It's awful to think about, but it was a possibility.
Right.
And then there was the burglary gone wrong theory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at first glance, it kind of fit. No
Yeah.
forced entry, right?
Yeah, but you'd think a burglar would be more likely to target a place without kids.
Exactly. It just didn't quite add up. Plus, no signs of a struggle. No evidence of a break-in other than the open window.
Makes you wonder.
Right. And then there were the sightings. People all over the world thought they'd seen Madeleine.
Oh, wow.
One of the most talked about was in Morocco. Some tourist was convinced they saw a little girl who looked just like Madeleine with a man.
It's amazing how a case like this can capture the public's imagination.
I know, right? And people really wanted to help, but verifying these sightings, it's tough. Witnesses can be mistaken, memories are fuzzy, and even photos can be deceiving.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we had all these theories, each with its own set of problems, and the investigation. It seemed to be hitting one dead end after another.
It's a real mystery, isn't it?
It is. More questions than answers.
Mm.
But, the search for Madeleine, it never really stopped.
So, it wasn't just about finding Madeleine. This case, it really had a ripple effect, It changed things.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the sheer amount of media attention.
Right.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Unprecedented, really. And, for the McCanns, it was a double-edged sword.
How so?
Well, on the one hand, it kept Madeleine's story in the spotlight. It helped generate leads and put pressure on investigators.
Right.
But on the other hand, the constant scrutiny, the speculation, it was relentless.
Yeah, and sometimes it felt like the media was almost, I don't know, exploiting the situation. Like they were more focused on the drama than on finding Madeleine.
I see what you mean. It's a tough balance, The public has a right to know, but There needs to be a sense of responsibility, too. You can't just trample on people's privacy and grief in the name of news.
Exactly. And, the Madeleine McCann case, it happened right when social media was starting to take off.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like Facebook was becoming popular, Twitter was brand new, and even then, pictures of Madeleine were everywhere online. Imagine if this had happened today with Instagram and TikTok and all that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it would be a whole different ballgame.
It would. The reach would be insane.
And, that's another way this case changed things. It showed how powerful social media could be in missing persons cases.
Yeah, for better or worse, right?
Right. You can spread information quickly, get whole communities involved in the search, but there's also the risk of misinformation, rumors, conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah, it's like a wildfire online.
Yeah.
And for a family like the McCanns, who are already going through hell,
Yeah,
it just adds another layer of stress and pain.
absolutely. It's a reminder that we all need to be careful about what we share and how we engage online, especially in sensitive situations like this.
So the Madeleine McCann case, it really forced everyone to rethink how we handle missing persons cases, right? It's not just about traditional police work anymore. It's about media, it's about social media, it's about international cooperation, it's about forensics. It's all connected.
Exactly. And one of the things that came out of this, one of the positive developments, was Operation Grange.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, it was launched by the British authorities in 2011. Basically, it was a commitment to re-examining the evidence, pursuing new leads, even years after Madeleine's disappearance.
So like a fresh start.
Yeah, in a way, they had new resources, new technology, fresh perspectives. It was a sign that they weren't giving up.
That's encouraging.
And, Operation Grange, it wasn't just about reviewing old stuff. It was about applying new techniques, collaborating with international agencies, leaving no stone unturned.
That's impressive, especially after so many years.
It was. And while it didn't immediately solve the case, it kept the pressure on, kept the investigation moving, and eventually it led to a major breakthrough in 2017. That's when Christian Bruckner entered the picture.
Okay, so we're back. And we left off with Christian Bruckner becoming a person of interest in the Madeleine McCann case. This was a big shift in the investigation.
Yeah, Bruckner, he kind of came out of nowhere, right? Like, he wasn't even on the radar for years.
It's wild, isn't it? Like, investigators have been sifting through mountains of information, chasing all these leads, and Bruckner's name just poof appears.
It makes you wonder how many other potential leads are buried out there,
It's a sobering thought, for sure. But with Bruckner, it wasn't just luck that led investigators to him, right? There were some specific things that made him stand out.
Right. It was a combination of factors. For one, he had a history. He'd been convicted of sex offenses against children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he had this, nomadic lifestyle. He moved around a lot, spent time in different countries, including Portugal.
And this is around the time Madeleine disappeared.
Exactly. And then there were the witness statements and phone records. They placed him near the Ocean Club resort the night Madeleine vanished.
And wasn't there something about a van?
Oh, yeah, that was a big one. Remember those early witness accounts describing a suspicious van?
Yeah, like a creepy white van or something.
Well, Bruckner owned a van that matched the descriptions given by multiple witnesses.
That's a pretty big coincidence.
It is. But remember, even with all this, Bruckner hasn't been charged with anything related to Madeleine's disappearance.
Right. As of today, November 12th, 2024, he's still just a person of interest.
And he maintains his innocence. He's denied any involvement in the case.
So where does that leave the investigation?
Well, it's ongoing, but it's tough. A lot of the evidence is circumstantial. It's like a giant puzzle where they have some pieces, but they're still missing that key piece, the one that connects everything.
That must be frustrating for investigators.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, imagine the pressure they're under, the public scrutiny. Everyone wants answers, and they're working tirelessly to find them, but it's a slow, painstaking process.
I can't even imagine. It's a testament to their dedication,
Yeah.
They haven't given up hope.
And neither have the McCanns. Their determination to find their daughter is truly inspiring.
So even though we don't have a resolution yet, Madeleine's story, it's had a huge impact. Right.
Oh, absolutely. It's made people more aware of child safety. It's sparked conversations about media ethics, about how we investigate these kinds of cases. And it's a reminder that missing persons cases, they're not just statistics. They're real people, real families whose lives are shattered.
Well said. And even if the case remains unsolved, hopefully it will continue to push for improvements in child safety and investigative techniques.
I hope so. We owe it to Madeleine and to all the families who are still searching for answers.
Absolutely. Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. It's a story that's both fascinating and heartbreaking, full of twists and turns and, unfortunately, still no definitive answers. But it's a story that's important to remember, to learn from, and to never give up hope on.
Well said. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks to all of you listening out there. Until next time, stay curious.